Welcome everyone to another yoga class. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer. I do have my air conditioning on again, so I'll try and talk loudly enough. Hopefully you're staying cool as well. Couple quick reminders. My name is Chelsea again, in case you've forgotten. Just a reminder to maybe grab a couple of props. They can be actual yoga props like yoga blocks, yoga straps. If you want to use a yoga mat, of course, that's great. But also remember that you don't necessarily need these, actual yoga pieces. You can find anything around your home that might work in place of that if you don't actually own those. So blankets, pillows, cushions, towels, these are all great. You can fold the blanket or the blanket or towel a couple times, use that as a cushion where needed, use it in place of a yoga block. I always remember that, one semester there was a student who had used a little mini ice chest in place of a yoga block, and it worked great. So anything you have around the house that you think might work, that's great. All you need is a little bit of space, basically the space of a yoga mat, and then make sure that you can move your arms and legs around without whacking anything and hurting yourself. A quick reminder again of the zones that I like to mention during class. So red zone, that's the no-go zone, right? 80% and up to 100, right, to your maximum. We're gonna try to avoid that zone. So that's at any point where you feel like any sharp stabbing pains, or just like it's just too intense and you need to get out of the position. Of course, always feel free to come out of any pose and take a break as needed, or just ease back a little bit to get yourself into that orange zone. And that's where we really want to be most of the time, feeling like we have a good stretch happening, or maybe a nice little muscle burning sensation where you feel that muscle's working a little bit. That's where we want to be. And then there's also the green zone, which is kind of like right now, if you're chilling with me right, in this very moment where we're sitting here before we started moving, we're kind of in a relaxed state. That's the green zone. And we will do a few green zone or resting poses. And I'll let you know when we're doing those. Again, always feel free to take a rest at any time. But if you're ready to push, increase the intensity a little bit so that you can get into that orange zone. Be careful of any injuries or anything you're dealing with. Again, really listen to your body. Take breaks as needed. I know I've already said that twice, but it's super important. And especially in the heat, take breaks, drink water, and just, listen to your body. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. You can contact me, casman@glendale.edu, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions if you're struggling with any particular poses, or have any questions about yoga at all. Please reach out to me. So I'm going to get us into our meditation practice to get started. So we're gonna do today a 3-part breath. Hey there, Jason. I'm just getting into a meditation here. So we'll do a 3-part breath today. So it's a little bit different than the last 2 times I've done a breathing observation. So 3-part breath, I'll explain it first and then we'll give it a try. So first we're going to inhale in through our nose. And this takes a bit of concentration because we're going to actually send the breath directly to our bellies. So you're going to try to inflate your tummy, right? Some of us naturally breathe in our bellies. Some of us naturally breathe a little bit more up in our chest, or maybe it just fluctuates depending on where we're at and what we're doing. But you're going to focus on actually inflating your belly. When your belly is as full as it can get, you're going to keep that air in the belly, and then additionally, you're going to inflate air into your chest. So now your belly's full, and then you're also going to fill up your chest, expand your lungs, expand your rib cage, full of air as much as you can get. And then the third part is basically just that when you're full, right? Everything that can be full of air is full. Your shoulders might lift slightly, or your collarbone might lift slightly. It's kind of like the top, like I'm done. And then we'll just reverse that order. So then we're going to exhale out through the mouth. So remember, yogic breathing is in through the nose and out through the mouth. If you can, if you happen to have a stuffy nose today, no worries, just breathe through your mouth. But we'll go in through the nose, belly, lungs, collarbone lifts, right? Those are the three parts. And then reverse the order out through the mouth, collarbone's gonna lower, air is gonna go out of your chest, your lungs, and then air depletes all the way out of the belly. So there's nothing left, right? And when you're exhaling, I know I mentioned this last class in the bridge pose, think of it like a leaky tire, right? Just letting the air, yeah, doing good, Jason. Just letting the air out very slowly. So I'm just gonna do a little example right now. So I'm gonna do a nice deep inhale. I'm gonna let the air out slow so you can see. So that was a really long breath because I was only letting a little bit out, right? You can do it this way, right? I feel like when I kind of do it like through my teeth, making that like sound, then I can really control the breath more. So maybe try that. So yeah, let's give it a whirl. So this is kind of our meditation practice. Again, remember the goal of meditation is to clear the mind, and that takes a lot of practice over time of doing different meditation techniques. You may get to that point. But to get there, what we do is we use different techniques so that we can just focus our mind. So first we want to get better at focus and concentration, to then get to that next level of actually just completely clearing the mind. So the focus is on this breathing technique here. So here we go, deep breath. We're gonna inhale in through the nose and start to fill up your belly. So if you need to, you can put your hand down, and you can't see my hand right now, but put your hand down on your belly if that helps. Inhale, start to fill your belly up with as much air as possible. You can close your eyes if that helps you to focus better. Really, you can even just take little sips until your belly is as full as you can get it. Okay, once your belly is full, you're gonna keep sipping in air, and now you're gonna inhale into the lungs. You could even put your hands up on your chest or out to the sides of your rib cage, and you're sipping in air and filling up the lungs as much as you can. And lastly, part 3, the collarbone will lift. Okay, now we're just so full of air, we need to let it out. Exhaling out through the mouth. Collarbone's gonna start to lower and relax. Start to let the air out of the chest. And then when that's empty, you're gonna let it out of the belly. Until you have no air left. And reverse, inhaling in through the nose, filling up the belly. Filling up the lungs. Collarbone lifts. And reverse, out through the mouth. Collarbone lowers. Out of the lungs. Out of the belly. And repeat. Inhale. Belly fills. Lungs fill. Collarbone lifts. Reverse. Out through the mouth, collarbone lowers, lungs release, belly releases, and inhale. And exhale. And just continuing now on your own timing. Trying to keep your focus on this 3-part breathing technique. As always, if at any point your mind begins to wander, if you start to think of something else, That's totally normal. If that happens, once you notice that your mind has wandered, just let the thought go and come back and return to that 3-part breath. Sometimes you have to do that multiple times in any meditation session. And that's okay. As you continue to practice, you'll be able to go longer periods of time without your mind wandering, and you'll be able to notice when your mind wanders more quickly. Maybe even just see that thought pass by and not even catch on to it. Wherever you are in your meditation journey, it's totally fine. Let's take a few more rounds of that breath. Let's finish up our last round. When you're done, just return back to a regular breathing, natural breathing. If your eyes are closed, you can slowly blink them open. Great. Okay, very good. So again, all you need for that one is your breath. Of course, it's always nice to have a nice, quiet place to do meditation practice, but remember, meditation is mindfulness. It's being present in the moment, and that's something you can do anywhere, you know. You can even do it with your eyes open. You could do it, you know, standing in a line. So if you're feeling maybe agitated with a long line or something like that, maybe think about doing a 3-part breath and see how that helps you. Okay, let's move on and get into our asana practice. Remember, asana means posture or pose in Sanskrit. Remember, Sanskrit is the native tongue for yoga, so a lot of the words you'll hear me saying are Sanskrit, as yoga comes from India. So let's come on down and begin lying down as we have been doing the last few classes here. So I'm just going to tilt my camera so you can see me. Okay, here we go. So just make your way down onto your back. We're going to start with our bridge pose that we've been learning the last couple of times. So we're going to start with the arms down by the side. Again, make sure that the feet are flat on the ground and they're about hip width apart. So the feet are not totally together. There's a little space there, right? Arms are down by your side, palms down so that you can press into the ground. Deep breath. Here we go with that yogic breathing again. Inhaling in through the nose. And then exhaling out through your mouth. You're going to start to peel your hips off the ground. Peeling your spine, lifting the hips up as high as you can, keeping the feet flat, head and shoulders rest on the mat. Inhale, and then exhale as you lower. Shh. And that's that same leaky tire breath. Shh. As you lower the hips down. Shh. So it's kind of like almost in a way taking that same breathing and just now we're adding movement to it. Inhaling again, in through the nose. Exhale and squeeze the glutes, lifting the hips. Inhaling at the top, and then exhaling to roll down, pressing each one of those bones on your spine down into the ground. Really tricky here when you get to that lower back. Really try to press that lower back into the mat. If you'd like an extra challenge, you can take your hands up to the sky like this. If you're not ready for that, no worries. Just keep your hands pressing down into the mat. Try to keep the knees lining up with the toes. Toes point straight forward. Very good. We're going to take one more bridge. Good, let's hug the knees into the chest. Just take a little resting pose here. This is air release pose. Good, kind of stretching out that lower back after that bridge. Good. Let's take the knees wide, reach between your legs, grab your shins, ankles, knees, toes, or outsides of your feet if you like. And then we just take the feet up towards the sky, keeping the knees bent. And this is called Happy Baby. Happy Baby. We learned this one last time. Very good. And this is like, you know, when you look at the baby and they're laying there and they've just discovered their feet and they're like, what are these things, right? So as I mentioned last time, I like to use this pose as an example for pretty much all poses, right? To be like a baby in every pose that we do, exploring, right? Thinking about like, what zone am I in? How does this feel? How does my body feel? What if I stretch one leg out or the other, or maybe both legs? Like, how does it feel, right? Exploring the position. And sometimes you don't even have to do big movements, just little movements. How does it feel what if I rock a little bit here? How does that feel? And also remember that our bodies are always changing. So how your body feels today may be different than the next time that you do this. So you always want to just take time to check in and explore and find that orange zone, because maybe you're going here and you're going, that doesn't really feel like much. I feel like I'm kind of in the green zone. So what if I do this, or what if I do that, and how does that change the pose for me? Does that push me into the orange zone? So always exploring, just like a baby would explore their new bodies, right? Remember, the three main elements of yoga are breath, meditation, and movement. They all work together. So even though I'm in this movement right here, this pose, I can also be breathing. You could still do a yogic breath here if you like that. You can just also breathe naturally. Remember, in yoga, breath is pranayama, the life force. So it's important that we're breathing, we're not holding our breath here, right? And then at the same time, we're in a meditative state, which means that we're present. We're just present in this moment. All right, and we're just gonna let that go and hug our knees back into our chest, back into our air release pose. Good. Okay, we're gonna combine two moves. We're gonna combine this air release pose with our bridge pose, okay? So we're gonna take this air release pose to the next level. Take your chin, tuck your chin to your chest, do a little crunch. Try to lift your forehead towards your knees. Doesn't matter if your head touches or not, just lifting it up. Okay, so here we are in our little air release, our little ball position. Okay, take a deep breath, inhale, and then exhale, you're gonna drop down and lift the hips. Bridge. Inhale, exhale, lower the hips, and come into your ball. Combining these moves. Inhale, exhale, hips up. Inhale, exhale to ball. Inhale, exhale, hips up. Inhale, exhale to ball. Two more. Very good. And go ahead and rock yourself up. If you need to use your hands to get yourself up to seated, that's totally fine. All right, good. Let's come up. And if you'd like to, I'm just going to slide back a little here. If you'd like to use something under your seat here, a block, a pillow, blanket, towel, etc., feel free to do that. Okay, so this is easy seated pose or crisscross applesauce. We're going to do our neck stretch. So sit up really tall in whatever position. If this bothers your knees to have them bent like this, feel free to adjust one leg out with the other, or even go ahead and just sit in a chair. That's totally fine. All right, so nice and tall back, deep breath, inhale, Exhale, we're going to tilt our head over to one side, ear to shoulder. Checking in to see what zone you're in. If you need to increase the intensity, option 1 is to take your hand up and over and gently pull. Another option would be to reach the other arm out and down on the diagonal. Remember, it's not actually touching the ground, it's kind of reaching out and away. You can also try tilting your chin up or down and explore how that feels. Find the right place for you and then hold and breathe. You should feel a stretch along this opposite side. One more inhale. Exhale, let it go wherever you are. Just slowly, gently take your time, bringing it up. Sometimes if you move too quickly, it can cramp up. Reset your spine, because sometimes we start to slouch, so make sure it's nice and tall. Deep breath again. And then exhale, head over to the other side. Again, chin down or up slightly, up to you. Remember, you can also just stay here. You don't have to do anything else. If this feels good to you, keep it here. If you like, add that pull, add that reach, and breathe. One more inhale. Exhale, wherever you are, letting go and slowly, gently coming up back to center. Maybe give your head a little gentle wiggle. Good. Deep breath. Inhale the arms all the way up over your head. Exhale, and we're going to just reach forward over our legs, dropping the head down. Easy seated pose with the forward fold. Just breathing here. You might feel a stretch along your back or your neck. Good, and slowly roll yourself up. Good, back to easy seated pose. Good, let's take a few rolls of the shoulders, rolling those shoulders back, loosening up those trapezius muscles, your traps, and reversing that circle, moving forward. Good. All right, and we're gonna move on to our hands and our knees now into tabletop position here, making sure the knees are directly under the hips, the hands directly under the shoulder here. Spread the fingers wide into a jazz hand for a nice base of support here. Let's start with our cat-cows. Deep breath. Inhale, drop the belly down, tilt the hips up, looking up to the sky. This is your cow. Deep breath. Inhale here. And then exhale, we're going to reverse. Tuck the hips under, rounding the back, press the floor away, chin to chest here. This is the cat. And again, inhale, belly down, looking up for the cow. And exhale, we round for our cat. Taking a few more of these. You can go as slow or as fast as you like. You can hold one round of breath. If you need to stay in a position a little longer, that's okay.
And we'll return back to a neutral spine. Okay, we're gonna do our wag the dog. So you're gonna wag your tail, right? Like a dog wags its tail. And at the same time, so if I take my hips over to the right, I'm also gonna take my head over to the right. Now I'm not looking at my hips like this. I'm still looking at the ground, but I'm taking my head over towards my hip. I'm imagining that maybe I could touch my head to my hip. I can't, but I'm gonna try to. And then just same thing over to the other side. Hips and torso go over to the side. You should feel almost like a little crunch in the side, like you're doing a little abdominal side crunch here. As you go from side to side and breathing however feels right to you. Holding it if you like, or moving through it, side to side. And let's bring it back to center. Good. I'm going to turn a little bit just so I have a little more space. Okay, staying here in your tabletop position. We're going to do something called quadruped. We're going to take our right arm, reach it out over our head. Keep your head looking down. Don't do this with your neck. So you're still looking down at the ground, but reach your right arm out. And then take your left leg back. So you have your right arm and your left leg off the ground, leaving your left hand and your right knee down. You might feel really wobbly here, and that's okay. That's the point, is we are activating our abdominals, our core muscles to help us balance here. So just hold it and breathe. One more inhale. Exhale, we'll lower it down. Good, let's try the other side. So left arm reaches out, right leg behind you. Woo, see, I'm already tilting. And try to find your balance. If you're wobbling, that's okay. That's your body just trying to figure it out. And we'll breathe and hold here. And drop it down. Very good. I'm gonna move a little further back here. Okay, we're gonna come all the way down to our bellies in a prone position. Again, reminder, if you are pregnant, that you should not come onto your belly. Please feel free to skip this exercise. Maybe continue with those cat-cows or the quadruped. All right, let's start with our cobra. So we're gonna slide our hands forward. Elbows right underneath the shoulders, forearms down, and then flip those palms down. You're going to press down so you're not sinking into your shoulders like this. Lifting the chest up, long neck. Try not to crunch your neck here. Lower body's just resting down. This is a pose that also is sometimes called Sphinx pose. Just taking some breaths here. Good. All right, inhale. Exhale, slide the hands back, lower your chest. Now the hands are going to be underneath of the shoulders here. We're going to lift a little higher and do something called upward facing dog. So hands under your shoulders, deep breath, inhale. Exhale, you're going to start to press down into the hands and lift up. Now maybe you only go this high. Maybe you only go this high, right? You decide where you stop or how high you go. Whatever you do, make sure you're not doing this. Just like in Cobra, we're going to press those shoulders down. Nice long neck. And breathe. One more inhale. Exhale, and we'll lower down. Woo! Did you feel those triceps burning? Okay, we're going to turn your head to one side, right or left. So your ear is down, your face is on the ground. And then we're going to take our hands down by our sides. Flip your arms so your palms are down on the ground, like this. We're going to do something called one-legged lotus. One-legged lotus. So try your best to relax your left leg. We're going to lift our right leg off. 3, 2, 1. Lift that right leg up as high as you can. You're pressing down into your hands for support, and try to breathe. One more inhale. Exhale and lower. Very good. Okay, now focus on relaxing that right leg. We're gonna try the other side. Ready? Activate that left leg in 3. We're gonna lift it up in 2. And 1. Leg goes up. Use those arms. Breathe. One more inhale. Exhale and lower. Very good. One-legged lotus. Bring the hands back under the shoulders. Deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to press up onto our hands and our knees. Back to that tabletop position from earlier. Deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to step our left leg in front. You want to make sure that left foot is flat on the ground so your heel is not off the ground like this, right? So if you need to wiggle it around and adjust it, try to get that foot flat. This is where you might want something underneath of your knee. Feel free to pop something under there for an extra cushion. When you're ready, you're going to lift your torso up and then bring your arms up by your ears. So you're just reaching up to the sky with those arms. And here we are. This is called modified crescent pose. Modified crescent pose. Try not to arch your lower back here. If you can, think about tucking your hips under here. Breathe. If you want, you can also tuck your back toes under if you like that. Good. One more. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to bring our hands down. We're going to turn this position into a modified warrior 1. So what I want you to do is take the leg that's on the ground, we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. So now my knee is pointing out to the side. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to take your arms back up, and voila! They're very similar, but they're slightly different. Now we are in Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale, exhale the hands down. Rotate the knee back and then bring that front leg back. Good. Okay, here comes Mr. Manolo. And we'll take a deep breath. Inhale. Other side now, we'll take the right leg in front. If you already did the right leg, no worries, just do the other side. Again, making sure that foot is flat on the ground. Deep breath, inhale, the arms come up. Crescent pose. So when we're in crescent pose, our hips are squared forward and our legs are just kind of in line with our hips, arms reaching up to the sky. Modified crescent pose. Good. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down, and then we're going to rotate that bottom leg 90 degrees. So now your knee is pointed side. Okay, you can adjust that front leg over if you need to, and then bring the arms back up. And now this is Warrior 1. So notice that your hips are slightly opened a little bit, right? So you have to kind of twist your torso so that your shoulders stay squared forward, and this is modified Warrior 1. Good. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Rotate that bottom knee and bring the front leg back. Back to our tabletop position. Good. Deep breath here. Inhale. Tuck your toes under. Exhale, we're going to lift the hips up this time and find our downward facing dog. Again, spreading those fingers wide on your mat. That jazz hand position. Dropping your head down between your arms. Feel free to bend the knees here. Let the heels lift, aiming for that flat back position. One more inhale. Exhale, we're going to walk our feet in towards our hands. And find this position here, which is called forward fold. Now, some people might not be able to reach the floor here. That's okay. That's where your props come in handy, right? You can put your hands on some blocks, your ice chest, whatever it is that you have. You can also just let your arms dangle. You can put your hands on your shins or your ankles, or maybe just your fingertips touch the floor. All of that's great. Wherever you are is great. You're also free to bend the knees here if that feels good as well. Let your head hang. Try to relax the neck here. Take a few breaths. This is called Uttanasana. Uttanasana. Good. Let's bend the knees slowly, gently. Take your time. Drop the hips down, and then you're going to roll up through the spine, just like we did, rolling up and down the spine at the very beginning of class in our bridge pose. Let your head be heavy. Head is the last thing to arrive at the top, and I'm going to adjust my screen so that you can see me. We're going to work now from a little bit of a standing point. Okay. All right, so last class, we started learning Sun Salutation A, the standing version. We have the modified version as well on the knees. Let's start with the standing today and learn a little bit more. We'll see if we can add a little to it. There's 14 poses in total. We learned the first 3 last time. See if we can add a little more to it. So first you're going to start in mountain pose. Mountain pose is where you're standing with your feet about hip width apart, or maybe they're all the way together. Your choice. Your arms are down by your side, but your palms are facing forward. Okay, good. And then I'm going to just turn sideways because I want to be sort of at the top of my yoga mat. I know it feels funny if you're using a yoga mat, like why is all of this behind me? But it'll make more sense as you learn more of the Sun Salutation phrase. So just, go along with it for now. Okay, so find that mountain pose, and if you'd like to modify on your knees, you're welcome to do that. Always an option to modify. Good. And then from here, we'll lift our arms up, bring your palms together, and then just take your eyes up. This is not a back bend, we're just looking up at our hands. And this is a pose that has 2 names. It's upward hand salute or upward worship pose. You can also do this on your knees. Good. From here, deep breath, inhale. Exhale, you're going to take your arms out and you're going to start to dive down, reaching for those toes. And there we are, back to that forward fold that we just did. Again, relaxing the head. Good. All right, I'm going to show you the next pose here. Just move back a little so you can see me. From here, you're going to start to lift your head up like a snake. Snake your head up, and you're going to lift your head up until you have a nice flat back position like this. Now, some people, if you have really tight hamstrings, your back is going to be rounded like this. The goal is to have it really flat. Okay, so for some people, now what we call this pose, we call it half lift. So, how I was lifted about halfway up there, about a 90-degree angle at my hip joint. But if you have tight hips or tight hamstrings or glutes, you might not be able to get that position. So what I want you to focus on, rather than the word half, is I want you to focus on this idea of getting your back flat. So maybe you can see yourself in the Zoom screen, maybe take a photo or video of yourself. If you have a mirror that you can look in from the side view, or ask someone to help you out to see when you have that flat back. So if you're like this and your back is kind of round, then what I want you to do is actually want you to lift up even higher until your back is flat. Okay, so this might be your half lift, right? Get that back flat. All right, so then from here, this is the 4th pose. Inhale. After half lift, we go back down, forward fold again. Relaxing the head. So we do forward fold twice here. Fold, half lift or flat back, and then fold again. Let's bend the knees, slowly, gently roll yourself up all the way to standing. Good, find that mountain pose again, the very first pose, feet together or apart. Again, if you like, you can modify this on your knees. Good, let's put that all together. Deep breath, inhale the arms up, upward hand salute, palms come together. Exhale, we're gonna reach for the toes, forward fold, Uttanasana. Good, inhale, you're gonna lift up, snake your head up, come up as high as you need to get that flat back. Your arms are reaching down, your head is in line, so make sure you're not doing this. Drop your chin down, you're looking down, so your neck is in line with your spine. Deep breath here, inhale. Exhale, we come right back down to forward fold. Good, let's add one more pose to our sun salutation phrase. From here, you're gonna put your hands in your nice jazz hand down on the mat. If you need to bend your knees to do that, totally fine. Once you have those jazz hands, step your feet back, one leg, and then the other leg, and you find your plank position, Dandasana here. Now again, make sure you're not doing this with your neck, looking down at the mat. Be careful you're not doing this, right? Neck in line with the spine. Also be careful not to let your hips get too low or too high. If they're too low, that's gonna be a lot of pressure on your lower back. If they're too high, you're basically in a downward facing dog, and we wanna be in this plank position. All right, if you want to make a modification, you can just drop your knees down like this, okay? That's totally fine. Make sure your wrist is right underneath of your shoulder, and make sure you're not sticking your booty out, and now you're just in tabletop. You wanna have, if your knees are down, straight line from your head to your knees. If you're not modifying, straight line from your head to your heels. Let's take 3 breaths here. Inhale, and exhale. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Drop the knees. Let's shift the hips back and take a child's pose. Good. All right, let's come onto our knees and do a review of our modified sun salutation. And then we'll go back and do one more round of the full sun salutation so that you can choose whichever you like, modify where needed. There's always lots of options. And remember, it's an individual practice. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Do what's best for you. So for our modified sun salutation, we're gonna start on our knees, arms down by your side, palms forward, in modified mountain pose. Good, inhale, the arms come up, modified upward hand salute. Exhale, here we go. Instead of a forward fold, our hands are gonna come down, we're in our tabletop. Deep breath, inhale, drop the belly down for your cow. So this would be in place of your half lift. Exhale, round the back for your cat. This would be in place of the forward fold. Good. Shift the hips back, take a child's pose. This would be in place of that plank that we did. Good, coming back up onto your hands and knees, tuck the toes, lift the hips, find a downward facing dog. Good, drop the knees down, back to child's pose. Good, back to hands and knees, tabletop, back to your cat-cow. Good, inhale the arms all the way up, upward hand salute. Exhale, finishing your hands at your heart, mountain pose with prayer hands. Good. So hopefully that was a good reminder of the modifications that you can do. So we're gonna do poses 1 through 6 of the standing sun salutation phrase. Feel free to either do the whole modified version that we just did, or to modify some things, okay? Up to you. Just listen to your body. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm coming all the way up, and I'll try to also say what to do out loud. From here, we're in our standing mountain pose. If you would like to, you modify on your knees. All right, inhale, arms come up overhead, upward hand salute, also modifiable on the knees. Inhale. Exhale to forward fold or come to tabletop position. Good. Inhale, come to your half lift, get that back nice and flat, or take a cow pose. Inhale. Exhale, back to your forward fold or take a cat. Good. Plant your hands. We're going to step the legs back and find our plank option to drop the knees for modification, or just take a child's pose. We'll take 3 breaths here. Good. Let's drop the knees and we'll finish off through modification. So we're going to lift the hips to downward facing dog. We're going to drop the knees, shift the hips back, child's pose. Good, come back to tabletop, take a cow, and a cat. Good, inhale the arms all the way up, upward hand salute. Exhale, hands come to heart center, finishing mountain pose with prayer hands. Good. So as I mentioned, the full sun salutation, the standing version, has 14 poses. So we're just under halfway through. We'll try and add some more next class. What I'd like to do now is see if we can get into some balance work. We have been working on our tree pose, so let's get back into that today. So remember, your surface, whatever you are standing on, will affect your balance, right? So in this particular space, I have a carpet with a rug and my yoga mat over top of it. So typically rugs and carpets and even sometimes our yoga mats can be cushiony, which causes a little more challenge for your balance. If you are feeling super wobbly, you may want to practice this on a hard surface. So if you can find a tile, linoleum, hardwood floor, that's probably going to be better for your balance practice. But you know, carpet and can also just add a little challenge. So up to you. Okay, so we're going to shift all of our weight onto one leg. I'm going to start with my left leg today. I'm going to take my right knee, bend that knee, and rotate it out to the side. Remember, you have 3 options here. Option 1, just keep the toes on the floor, slide the foot in so that it's touching the ankle here. Option 2, lift the foot up a little higher so it's not on the ground, but it's against the lower leg, the shin, right? Option 3, take it all the way up to the inner thigh, okay? Avoiding always our knee joint, okay? I'm gonna give you a third option today, which would be to cross it over in front of the leg here if you prefer that. That can be an option. Arms have option 1, Shavasana position here, or mountain pose position, out, up, or maybe in prayer, your choice. Just pick whichever works for you today. Maybe you want to try something different. Also okay if you want to have just a really tiny little micro bend in your supporting knee. Sometimes if you have hyperextended knees, if you lock that knee back, you can get some pain in your knee joint. So we want to avoid that if we can. If you're feeling wobbly, that's okay. We're challenging our balance here. Try to find a focal point for your eyes. And that's it. Then we just breathe. If you fall over, just reset. One more inhale. Exhale, wherever your leg is, just bring it down. Shake out that supporting leg. Very good. Woo. Sometimes you feel it in that hip. All right. Let's reset. Other side. Finding all of your weight on the other leg. For me, that's going to be my right leg. I'm going to bend my left leg and rotate that knee out to the side. Option 1, on the ankle. 2, on the lower leg. 3, all the way up. And today, offering an option 4, kind of crossing over like you're sitting on the couch, right? Crossing over the knee slightly here. Avoiding that knee joint. Arms down, out, up. Maybe in prayer, your choice. Maybe a micro bend in the knee. Finding a focal point for the eyes. Engage the abdominals. See if you can pull that belly button in. Our abdominals are part of what helps us to balance. Breathing. And if you fall over, just get back up and try again. One more inhale. Exhale, let that leg go. Shake out that supporting leg. Very good. Let's bring the legs together. Inhale the arms all the way up. Interlace the fingers and keep the index fingers up, which is called steeple grip, like a church steeple. Reach up really tall. Reach up, 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 up. Inhale, and then take your torso over to one side. A little side stretch here. Inhale, exhale, back up to center. Good. Inhale, reaching up tall again. Exhale over to the other side. Breathing. Inhale, exhale, and bring it all the way up. Good. Taking the arms down. Let's take the legs wide, wider than your shoulders. Let the toes point forward. We're going to do a wide leg forward fold now. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bending at the hips and then reaching for the ground. Again, you can put your hands on some blocks here, your ice chest, whatever you have. Let your head hang heavy. Maybe you want to grab your ankles, whatever you got. And just breathe here. Good. All right. From here, take your right toes, turn them to the right. So now my right toes are to the right, my left toes are still pointed forward, and then you're going to take your body over that right leg here. You can bend that right knee a little bit. This is called pyramid pose here. Good, and then bring those right toes back to the front. Let's take the left side. Left toes over to the left, walk your body over as well. Again, if you need to bend that left knee a little bit, that's fine. Pyramid pose. Good, and then we'll bring it back to the center. Good, we're gonna come down onto our knees today. We're gonna do something called camel pose. So you're on your knees just like we did this modified mountain pose. From here, and again, if you wanna put something under your knees for cushion, totally fine. We're gonna take our hands to our lower back or kind of on your hips, like if you put them in your back pockets here, and then try to pull those elbows back towards each other. Good, you're gonna inhale, and then exhale, press your hips forward, lean back, breathe. This is called camel pose. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, and we'll slowly come up. Good. Coming down onto our seat, and we're gonna roll ourselves down onto our back. Hug those knees into your chest, back to that air release pose. Good. We're gonna extend one leg long. Keep the other leg in. A little stretch of the hip here. Good. Let's switch legs. And then bring the other leg down. So both legs are down. We're gonna bring our palms up so that the arms are down by the side, palms up, just like mountain pose, but now we're laying down. And we are in Shavasana, or corpse pose, also sometimes called dead man's pose here. If you would like, you can also choose to rotate the palms down. Palms up for receiving energy, palms down for grounding. Your choice here. Taking a nice deep breath. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Relaxing the body here. The asana practice is done. We are in our final resting pose. And then remember, this is a really important part of closing out our practice, returning our spine back to neutral position, letting all of the work that we've done today settle into the body. Feel free to close your eyes here if you like. Another deep breath, inhaling in through the nose. Exhale. Releasing any outside thoughts, anything about the past or the future. Trying to keep your focus in on this very present moment here. Feel free to return back to that 3-part breath, or maybe your breathing observation, whatever helps you to stay present. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose again. Exhaling out through the mouth. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes a little bit. Maybe circle your wrists and your ankles. Interlace the fingers. Big stretch. And hug the knees back into the chest. Good. Rolling onto one side. Right or left side, taking a pause here in your fetal position. And then we'll use our hands, pressing the floor away to slowly bring ourselves all the way up, back to easy seated pose if you like, or whatever seated position feels good to you. We're going to rest our hands in our lap here. Just taking a moment to check in, see how your body is feeling. Good. Let's take a deep breath in, bring the palms together at the top, upward hand salute. Exhale, bringing the hands all the way down to heart center. Taking a moment of gratitude for yourself, for taking the time to do something good for you today. And then we'll bow and we say namaste. The light in me sees the light in each of you. Thank you so much for joining me in this yoga practice today. We still have a few more Wednesdays coming up through the month of July. So please join me again Wednesdays, 6:30 for yoga. And we'll just keep kind of adding on to what we've learned. And of course, if you can't make it at this time, these will be available on our wellness YouTube channel. So, and again, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Have a great evening. Namaste.